Hi, welcome to Becoming More Me, the podcast for busy minded entrepreneurs who want to be more and do less. These episodes are designed to inspire you to become more of the person you feel called to be and let it be easy. I'm your host, Theresa Lear Levine, EFT master practitioner, hypnotherapist, and international best-selling author of Becoming More Me, Tapping into Success, Subconscious Secrets of an ADHD Entrepreneurial Mom. And you can actually get the first chapter of my book absolutely free right now. All you need to do is go to teresalearlevine.org/first chapter. That's spelled out FIRST chapter. And I will send you the first chapter both on audio and digital. So you can read it, you can listen to it, or you can do both. Anyway, this is my jam, helping you get out of your own way and illuminate your shadows, reclaim your power, and enjoy every moment of the journey is really what I love most. And today, we are diving into some more juicy territory. Have you ever wondered what it really takes to rise up, to be seen, heard, relevant in your life, your business, your leadership? What if unlocking the next level wasn't about doing more, but about more confidence, emotional intelligence, and coming home to yourself? Today, I'm joined by the amazing Nada Lena. She's an internationally acclaimed thought leader, TEDx speaker, and founder of Rise Up For You. Nada's work is all about helping people lead from within, develop the, as she calls them, soft skills, and we'll go into that in the show, that create real success, and show up with confidence, first and foremost, as well as clarity and purpose. This is such and I don't like to use the word powerful, I overuse it, but this is a powerful and uplifting conversation. And we are going to cover visibility, leadership, and all of the other things that are going to help you in becoming more you. It all starts now. Welcome, Nada, to the show. I'm so glad to have you here today. Thanks for making the time to be on Becoming More Me.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here, Teresa.
Absolutely my pleasure. I'd love to just start outside of business and all of that kind of stuff to just know a little bit more about you, the kind of things that interest you, maybe some of your hobbies, things that you derive pleasure from, who you enjoy spending time with. Tell us about you.
Okay, well, at the heart of it, I love music. I used to be a performer. So, music is a big part of my life when I'm, not running the business and on camera. I'm listening to music, watching, musicals, movies. I'm going to see Lion King in a couple weeks on stage. So, that's a big part of me. And other than that, I'm pretty relaxed. The things that I get the most joy from are hanging out with a handful of friends at a coffee shop that's new, not the franchise ones, but the ones that are just mom and pop that only have, one shop, for example.
Good one.
So that's really what I like to do. I love the sun. You'll catch me out in the sun with a cup of coffee, just sitting there. Those are the things that I really love.
I love that. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that while we were planning to record this episode, you were getting married. Is that?
I was, yes. Yes, I am a newlywed, which is amazing. I mean, it's been almost half a year already, but yes, it's I got married and it's been amazing so far. So that's a whole new journey.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I would love to hear about like the work you do and like how you've gotten to this place where you are now on your own journey.
Yeah. So I'm so grateful and honored because every day my team and I we get to wake up and really just help individuals and organizations become their best not only in the workplace, not only with their business and their career, but also in their personal lives as well. And we do that through cultivating and teaching the skills that make up 80 to 85% of our success that no one really ever teaches you, that we think is just common sense. And those are what we call the soft skills, or you might have heard it as street smarts. I like to call them the success power skills. So my team and I will go in and we'll work with amazing individuals and we'll teach the emotional and social intelligence, self-confidence, how to be a transformational leadership, and influential communication. Those are really the four things that we focus on. The top four critical soft skills that are a game changer for every single person's life and the health of every organization.
Amazing. I love that.
Mhm.
Um, which ones do you feel like are the ones that people are missing most often?
All 4 of them. Yeah, but the biggest challenge, which is why it's, pillar number 1 is self-confidence. So, we teach these 4 pillars, and in the order: self-confidence, emotional intelligence, transformational leadership, influential communication. Influential communication is the most difficult. It's the hardest skill out of the 4, and self-confidence is the one that's people are in desperate need of. So 83% of professionals say their number one challenge is self-confidence. And so now when you think about it, when you struggle with not feeling enough, when you struggle with self-doubt, when you struggle with insecurity, everything that you do is through that lens. The way that you respond to people, the way that you communicate, the way that you show up, how you build relationships, and it's hindering most individuals today. They might not know it's self-confidence, but it comes out in imposter syndrome, perfectionist mindset, not being able to set healthy boundaries, people pleasing. All of these are behaviors or a lack of self-confidence.
Amazing. What kind of ways do you like to help people increase their self-confidence?
Well, I would say the deep way, not the surfacey way. It's not about affirmations in a mirror, although those are nice. That's not really what creates transformation. So, a couple things that we do are: the first thing we do is understand what are someone's values.
Mhm.
And what are someone's values and the core of who they are without a lens of negativity? Because oftentimes we will look at things through a, well, if only this, then I can do that. And so the first thing we do is say, okay, what are your top values and what are the 3 most important things in your life? What is your life mission statement? Just like every company has a mission statement, what's your personal life mission statement? And then what do we have to say no to in order to get there? What kind of woman or man do we need to become in order to make that happen? That's the first thing, is getting that clarity. Because once that we get that clarity, now we build the confidence to have the courage to live that type of life. Most people know what kind of life they want to live. Most people, they yearn for things, but they don't have the self-confidence or the courage to actually execute on it. They get in their own way, they talk themselves out of things, and that's really where the challenge is.
Absolutely. We see a lot of that too, in my work also. So I
Yeah.
definitely understand what you're speaking about there.
Yep.
How do you like to help people to clarify their life mission when self-doubt ends up kind of clouding that ability for them to see it clearly?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the greatest method is coaching, which is interesting because coaching is still, I would say, a fairly new concept in the professional space. You know what I mean? I mean, athletes and performers have had coaches their entire life. But I think we're starting to recognize that if we want to be a high performer, or even if we just want to grow, professionally and personally, that there is a coach that can help you do that. That's where the most transformation happens. And the reason why is because every single person has blind spots.
Oh, yes.
95% of leaders think they're self aware, only 10% actually are. And so when you have a coach, you have somebody that can catch blind spots in you and help push your potential in ways that you don't even know exist. And so, one of the greatest ways that we like to help people is by doing that one to one coaching. And then, of course, providing our tools on clarity, strategies on breaking limiting beliefs that can help them move up in their personal and their professional life. We just launched our book about a month ago on self-confidence, and it's self-confidence: how to overcome the I'm not enough mindset. And it's 250 pages of strategy, like real strategy that we've used with clients and companies all over the world, that is a proven method that's actually driven results for people.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And then you had another book that came out, I guess, about 5 years ago or so. I think I see that one back there. Also, I think it's called Rise Up for You. Is that kind of, was that where the journey began with your book writing?
That's where the journey began. So, The Rise Up for You is the first book that I wrote, and it's a combination of like my story, who I am as a woman, and how I got to build the company, why it exists today. And then there's obviously some strategies and things in the back end, the how to move forward.
Awesome.
And then this year we launched the emotional intelligence book and the self confidence book, and then we have 2 more coming out this year as well.
Will they speak to the other two pillars?
That's right. Yeah.
I'm on to you. Okay. I love it. That's
You
great.
are. Yep.
First book, the subtitle I think was like closing the gap between you and your potential. Is that what you feel like those four pillars help people to do?
100%. And ironically enough, in the first book, I touch upon each of the pillars before the pillars were the pillars, if that makes sense, right? Because when I first wrote the book, it was
Whole plan for everything that was going to unfold after that, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
In my first book, I just talk about some of these things are really important. I talk about self-confidence. I talk about emotional intelligence. I talk about being a leader, not only in the workplace, but also in your own life, right? Like, how do you lead yourself to create change in others? You have to start with you. And then I talk about like the importance of influential communication and recognizing that you are constantly influencing and making an impact, whether you realize it or not. Even when you're in the supermarket, right? And you're talking to the cashier or every interaction that you have, you're influencing. And the question is, how are you influencing? What's the outcome of that influence? And is it serving you or taking away from you in your future?
Yeah, I love that. And when you think about closing that gap, do you think anybody ever really closes that gap completely, or is it kind of like chasing a carrot where the farther you go, the farther you can go kind of thing?
Yeah, it's chasing a carrot. But I do think you can get to a place of self-actualization,
Yes.
right? Which is like that the top of the Maslow's hierarchy. I
Mhm.
do think that pushing your potential and seeking growth is a constant journey in your life that I think is never ending in a beautiful way, in a beautiful way. But we want to be able, at least in this lifetime, hopefully, to push yourself to a place of self actualization where you're not just in survival mode, right?
Mhm.
Where you're able to make an impact in yourself, you feel fulfilled internally, and you also feel fulfilled externally with like providing support to the community, giving back to the world, making a larger impact beyond yourself. And I think that most people unfortunately never get there. So for me, building success and having success is 360. It's not success in just your career. I truly believe that you can have it all in your life, and many individuals leave this planet never reaching that. So I do think you can reach that state, but yeah, of course, like pushing your potential is a constant journey.
Moving from like survival to thriving or abundance or whatever the end goal is one of the things that I help people with a lot of the time. So, yeah, I'd love to hear your opinion on what you think it takes to like push out like beyond survival mode where we're not just getting by, but really stepping into that self-actualization and truly living. What do you think that takes?
There's so many things I can talk to, but in order to really become the best version of yourself, I think the first thing is you have to have unshakable inner self confidence. Because the reality is, and we hear this a lot on social media with different influencers where they say, just take action and confidence will come. But it's actually the opposite, right? You've got to build internal self confidence first to even move forward. Most people are crippled by their beliefs and their thoughts that they never even take the first step. And so I see confidence as two layers. You have your self confidence, and then you have confidence in things. And so I totally agree that in order to build more confidence, you have to do the thing, right? Whatever it is, whether it's confident in speaking, confident in having conversations with your leader. But you have to build the internal self confidence first so that you can start to take baby steps and do that. And most people get stuck. So they don't write that first book. They don't build the side hustle that they wanted to. They don't ask for the promotion even though like deep down inside they believe that they deserve it. And so the first thing you need to have is unwavering self-confidence, inner self-confidence. You have to believe that you're enough, period. No matter what's going on around you, no matter what's falling apart, your identity is not representative of that. That's the first thing. I truly believe that the second thing is having a forward moving mindset and not staying in the shit, if I can say that on the air. A lot of people, they go through challenges in life. I always say that life does not discriminate. Every single person goes through heartbreak, goes through death. There's a lot of people that struggle with financial, instability, divorce. I mean, you name it. Life doesn't discriminate. We all get kicked in the teeth multiple times.
Also a Hamilton fan.
What's that?
Are you also a Hamilton fan?
The musical? Absolutely.
Wait for it. That's pretty much the line there, right? Life
Yes,
doesn't
exactly.
take it.
Exactly.
So yeah, sorry, you're speaking my language. That's my
No,
favorite.
100%. Everybody gets kicked down multiple times in life. And I think in order to truly build success, you have to be able to like push through it and use that pain as fuel for growth and not use it to create a victim mentality that allows you to make excuses. So whenever somebody says, "Well, I'm like this because I'm like, I don't want to hear it." Even for myself, if I have something and I'm like, nope, nada, like that's not the story that you need to be thinking about. You need to be thinking about how to move forward because you get stuck in that story and then that story sabotages you. And I always say it's really important to use that pain or whatever thing you've gone through as fuel to make yourself and the world better.
Instead, a lot of us like cling to the stories. We love our stories. I mean, we really do.
It
They're
becomes our identity, right? It becomes like who we are, even though your story's not who you are. It's a part of who you are, but I would rather it be a part of what is the becoming of you, right? And the beautiful pieces of you versus it holding you back. And a lot of people use it as excuses. Well, I'm like this way because I'm my childhood or this happened to me, which is why I'm here. And the reality is that like that mentality will never serve you. What
yeah,
will serve you is wow, like I had a really tough childhood. And you know what? I'm going to make sure that I am growing myself and being the best that I can be and maybe help other people not have that kind of childhood. You see what I mean? Like
absolutely.
taking it and fueling yourself and also like fueling the world with that.
Shifting into empowered action and leveraging the
Yes.
with the
Yep.
hand dealt, essentially. So
Yeah.
when he realizes that their current identity is keeping them small, how do you recommend they begin kind of crafting and living into like a new identity?
I would say the first thing is get around people that are better than you that are going somewhere. Because we've all heard the quote, you're the average of the five people you spend the most time with by Jim Rohn. That is so true.
Is
When you're around people that play small, that don't have a vision in life, you don't real it's almost like you're in like a little mini cult without realizing it. You don't realize what the outside world has. Do you know what
right.
I'm saying? A perfect example I'll give, I'll use me and my husband as an example, who I love dearly. He works in corporate. He loves it. He loves the corporate space, which is awesome, but he's never been exposed to entrepreneurship. So now I'm his wife and I'm doing this entrepreneur thing, and you could see his mind is like, what, how do you work? Like, how do you make money? Like, you could just see his whole mindset is so foreign to it, which is a beautiful thing.
I
And
can
it's
relate to
this,
that so much with my husband because
yeah,
same thing. So yes,
yeah. But now you could see his mind going, oh, well, I wonder if, huh, there's possibility. I'm like, yeah, there's so much possibility. But so it's that same thing of that, like, if you're not around a certain mindset, regardless of what it is, you really have no idea. You don't know what the possibilities are. You don't even know what the possibilities are within yourself. And so I
right.
think it's really important to be around people that can push you, help you to become better, people that you admire. All of those things are super important. I always say I never take advice from people I don't admire.
Yeah.
If I don't look at someone and say, "Wow, like you're doing awesome things and you're an awesome human and you're a mom and a dad and you do all these things, like I admire you." If I don't have that feeling, I'm like, I won't take advice from anybody.
Yeah. But all of that doubles right back to what you already said was the most important thing, which is the self-confidence. Because
Mhm.
how are you going to feel okay stepping into that next level room of people that are, doing these things that you want to be doing and you aren't doing yet if you don't have that confidence and everything else? So I can see why you look at that as the most important pillar along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I think that there's also a vulnerability and a humility that you have to have because I have no problem going to somebody that I admire or walking into a room with people that are running nine-figure businesses and saying like, I want to grow. I'm hungry to grow. You're the people that are going to help me do it because you've been somewhere I've never been. I have no problem saying that. And more than often, people are like, yeah, bring it on. Like, this is great that you're hungry, that you want to learn. And I think that's really important.
Have you joined the Becoming More Me community over on School yet? It is one of the fastest growing distraction free platforms for learning and connection. And it's where the magic's happening for the Becoming More Me community as well. Inside, you will find a high vibe circle of heart centered, ambitious entrepreneurs and professionals doing deep work to become who they truly feel called to be in life, in business, in love, health, and wealth, and doing it in ways that feel aligned, authentic, and full of pleasure. The community is packed with tons of valuable resources too that you can start using right away, as well as guidance to find the ones that are going to help you so that you don't need to waste time. We're talking tools, trainings, and practices to support your growth, all for free. Plus, you can find info on working with me more deeply, whether it's through one-on-one coaching, small group experiences, or the Becoming More Me with EFT program, as well as information on upcoming workshops and other events. To join, head over to school.com/discovery. That's SKOOL.com/discovery. Type in my name, Theresa Lear Levine, and you will find the Becoming More Me community right there. Click on it to join. I can't wait to welcome you to the community. I think that openness is important too, because I think a lot of people who are, coming up in their businesses or whatever it is that they're looking to achieve in their life often feel like that next level is somehow closed off to them or
Yeah.
not available. And I think I've never actually encountered that in my journey, where if I actually asked for help or support, I didn't receive it.
Yeah, I totally agree.
But the confidence had to be there first in order to be able to like put myself out there and request for
Yes.
that kind of assistance and support. So, yeah.
Yeah, and always think about what you can give in return too, because for me, I've always said, like I'd love to learn from you, or I just want to be in your space, but here's how I can contribute to you, right? So again, going to that self-confidence piece of understanding like here's the strong piece that I can add, and here's the areas that I can grow in that like being around you is going to help me do that.
Right. And you've done a lot of work over the years with both like Fortune 500 companies as well as individuals. So,
Yes.
what are the mindset shifts that you see as like the most valuable across both? And what similarities do you see between like big companies and the individuals as they grow?
Yeah, if I'm being completely honest, I know it sounds like a broken record, but it's self-confidence. Even when executives come to us and they're like, "Wow, we have major performance problems and our leaders don't know how to lead and succession planning, more of the operational side in business." It always comes back to self-confidence. It always comes back to the leader thinking a certain way, right? So then they're not able to coach and mentor their team because there's a scarcity mindset around time. I don't have enough time. Like I got my own job to do. I don't have enough time to coach and mentor, or a scarcity mindset around them taking my job. Well, like why would I teach them and coach them? Like what the only other job they would take is mine, right? And so all of these things cloud and get in the way of, you know, helping an organization thrive and develop and truly become a collaborative workplace. But I mean that's really the biggest piece is individuals behaving based off of the beliefs that they've built over time. And most of those beliefs just do not serve them. And so we have to break down those beliefs for every person, right? And not in a therapeutic way. It's not therapy, but I would say more in an academic, strategic way. So this is the belief that you have. Where did it come from? What's the behavior that it's causing in you? And what's it costing you? Right? So
Mm,
when you behave a certain way, what's it costing you? Now, leaders might say, well, it's not really costing me anything. I just have people that can't do the job. I'm like, okay, well, that's costing you something. How many vacation days have you taken this year? Oh, zero. I can't take vacation. Exactly. Right. So, like, there's all these things that people don't really recognize are all tied together. And then
mhm.
I say, well, if you shifted your behavior as a leader and you coached more and you mentored more and you uplifted your team, I guarantee you could walk away for a week or 2 weeks and enjoy your family, have some self reflection, be able to, live a life that you enjoy that's not just head down in the office. So that's just a small example of how these behaviors can really create some strong movement.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that example. In your own experience and on your own journey, maybe could you share like an emotionally pivotal moment where like maybe you never even expected it would shape your work, but it did?
Oh, the whole company is based off of a pivotal moment. So I actually, people hear me talk and they, it's oftentimes that you'll hear a speaker or someone on a podcast and just think, well, like, okay, easy for you to say. But the reality is that everything that I talk about, I've experienced myself and I've used myself, which is why I know and my team know how to teach it and pass it on. And that's how we know it's a proven method. When I first started this company, my first career, I was a performer. So going back to the music, I actually started my first career in musical theater and I used to tour internationally around the world. And then I quickly moved on to being an executive for an education corporation because I realized through the singing and the dancing that it wasn't about me holding the microphone, it was about me connecting with the audience and trying to figure out like how do I move them in a way that they walk out of the show today and feel something so in the depths of their soul that they want to come back. And so that's really got me into education, into that empowerment and like uplifting. That's always been a part of who I am. Never thought about being an entrepreneur, didn't even know how to say the word, didn't know about what a podcast was, didn't know who Tony Robbins was, nothing. And then I went through my own journey. When I was an executive, I resigned from the company for an opportunity called marriage,
Oh,
first marriage. And after 4 weeks of being married, my ex said that he wanted a divorce and I lost everything.
wow.
So I went from a six-figure executive to $100. That was it. No car, no house, no job, $100 and two luggage. And I came back to California where I was living at the time, completely devastated. I didn't even know like what was my future. I was so uncertain and also heartbroken. My father came to me in my dream. My father died when I was 27. And he said, Netta, everything you need is already inside of you. You just have to rise up for you. So that's what I did. I came back home and I just kept hearing rise up for you in my head. And if I knew anything, it was that whenever I get a sign from God or my parents, I'd never ignore it. So rise up for you just kept coming into my head. And so I said, all right, I'm going to build a business. I'm going to build Rise Up for You. I don't know how to, don't know anything about it, but I believe in my ability to learn. So going back to what I was saying about that deep rooted self-confidence, I believed in myself and I bet on myself.
Yeah.
So I started building Rise Up for You. I didn't really know what it was going to be, but I knew that it was going to uplift and empower. That's what I did know, right?
Love
And I
it.
knew it was going to be an education because that's a superpower of mine. God blessed me with the ability to take information in my head and transfer it in a way where people can receive it. And 3 months later, my second parent, my mother, was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer out of nowhere. I built the company out of a hospital. I took showers at the 24-hour fitness. I would go back across the street, open up my laptop. What does it mean to build a business? What's a website? What's a podcast? Who's Tony Robbins? What
Mhm.
is coaching and training? And how do you make money off of it? All these things I didn't know.
Yeah.
And 9 months later, she died. So by the time I was 30, I was turning 32 years old. I had buried both of my parents, the two most important people in my life,
Wow.
went through a divorce that only lasted 4 weeks, but I lost everything in that process. And I was at the very, 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 very bottom. And I truly believe that everybody has a moment in their life where they have to decide what kind of leader they want to be in the world. What kind of woman, what kind of man do they want to be? And how do they want to take action and move forward? And that was the pivotal journey for me. So I decided that I wanted to build a life that I was proud of. And part of building a life that you're proud of is by contributing to the world. And I knew that these skills were a problem because in every industry that I've ever been in, whether it was performance or education or nonprofit or corporate, the common denominator that I always saw were people problems because a lack of social and emotional intelligence. It was the inability to have inter and intrapersonal skills within yourself and with other people. And that's how it began.
Wow. That's a lot. Hey, quick pause to let you in on something you might not know. You know, you can book a totally free, no pressure 15-minute insight call with me. Yep, just you and me chatting about the real life stuff that's feeling heavy or unclear or stuck in your world right now. Whether that's in your business, your body, your relationships, your energy, All of the above, maybe. We'll explore what's really going on beneath the surface, and I will share a few personalized insights to help you start moving towards the outcomes you truly desire and get out of your own way with clarity, peace, momentum, and abundance. Just go to gamechangingconversation.com and grab a time that works for you. I can't wait to connect with you and hold space for your next breakthrough. All right, let's get back to the episode.
It's a lot.
As you were going through all of that, did you ever find yourself in a season of burnout or misalignment? And what pulled you back to center, if so? Never?
No, I've never experienced burnout or misalignment, but I think it's because my parents have taught me to have an unshakable self-confidence. And when you have self-confidence, you don't do things that don't feel good to you. You know what I mean? Like you have strong boundaries, and that's something that I've always been blessed with, but it's from my parents, right? Like they gave me that. So even when I went to school for music, my dad, Middle Eastern, I'm a Middle Eastern, from a Middle Eastern family. I'm 100% Lebanese. I loved music. I got straight A's in high school, and my dad said, go be a doctor, go be a lawyer, go do something, be an engineer. And I was like, but I love singing. I love music. It feels so good for me. And he's like, what are you talking about? I didn't come to this country with $20 in my pocket so you could go to college for music. And I just told my dad, I was like, but it feels right for me and I love it. And that's what I did because, he taught us to be confident and to follow what felt right. And that's what I did. So ever since I was young, because they taught us that, if things don't feel good for me, I typically, I take a step back or I won't move forward with it. And the one time I ignored that feeling is when I got the divorce. That was the one moment in my life where I kept feeling this feeling in my stomach, this intuition. I kept feeling it and I kept feeling it and I kept ignoring it. And
Before
when
you.
yes,
Okay.
yes, I kept ignoring that feeling of this person is not the right person for me. And
I
I
did
kept pushing.
my first marriage.
Yeah, right. And I kept, it's the one time in my life where I ignored my intuition and I kept pushing it down. And I didn't know why I was doing that. I think culturally, and, there's a lot of aspects to it, but it bit me in the butt. And when it did, the first thing I took ownership, I said to myself, don't ever disrespect yourself again, because that's essentially what I did is I disrespected myself and I didn't honor that feeling that I had in my gut that like kept waking me up at night, right? It was like this thing knocking on my head and I kept trying to like push it away. And so when I got that first divorce, that first thing I said to myself is, don't you ever disrespect yourself like that again, because you at the end of the day, inside. I always say you have everything inside of you. The answer's in you if you just listen.
I love that. If there's something that you could whisper like into the hearts of any woman listening to this who's like striving so hard to lead in her life or her business, what would it be?
I think for me, I'm just going to go back to what worked for me, which is when I was a woman at my lowest, the question that I asked myself is, what does it mean to build a life that you're proud of? And what do you got to do to make that happen with unwavering commitment? And the first thing I did was sit down and I wrote down what are the things that I want in my life with no lens of negativity. I didn't put a box around it. I didn't say, like, oh, but that's too much money. I don't know if I could do that. I didn't do any of that. Just like, what do I want in my life? What are the things that matter to me? What are the non negotiables? And what do I have to keep out of my life in order to achieve that? And that has served me so well. And so I would say to anyone listening, man or woman, if you feel like you're stuck, start there. Start there and start doing even like one step at a time that's going to help you get closer to that man or woman that you want to become. Because the one thing that I will tell you, and I'll refer back to a musical from Rent, where it says there's no day but today. And when I lost my parents, I that hit me so hard. I was like, wow, there really is no day but today. My parents worked their whole life and never hit retirement. They both died when they were 63. And they were like fit people. Like they weren't struggling to get up and move around and, but you just don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. And for me, I want to be able to put my head on a pillow every single night and say, I did good, I feel good, and God forbid if I don't wake up tomorrow morning, I have peace within myself.
So important. What does it look like to work with you if you're an individual or a company? What kind of offerings or ways do you work with people?
Thank you. That's a great question. Thank you. So, yes, we have B2B and we have B2C. So, if you're a company and you're looking to help elevate your leadership, your team performance, really bring your team together, bridge some of the gaps, if you're spending too much time, money, and energy on like solving these people challenges, then you can work with us through retreats. We provide, of course, one-to-one and group coaching for team members. We do multi-year programming. We've walked with companies and built their entire leadership academy to help elevate their leaders and build that succession pipeline, because most companies are great at their industry, whatever they do, whether they're engineering, oil, healthcare, they're experts in that, but they're not necessarily experts in leadership and soft skills. And so we could do everything from a 1-day retreat to 5 years building your academy with you on these skills. And then on an individual side, we offer one-to-one coaching, of course, whether you're an executive or you just want more self-confidence. The product that I love the best, which is actually our most affordable product, is our Success Academy. So it's less than $1,000 a year, and there's hundreds of videos on demand. You get free coaching in the portal with our coaches. And every single month we do live group coaching that's live with our trainers. Plus you get assessments and swag and gamification. It's the greatest asset I think that we've achieved.
I love that. That sounds like it's
Yeah.
jam-packed with value for people. And
Yeah.
where can people find out about that? Find out more about you? Where can we find you?
Thank you. So you can just go to riseupforyou.com. Everything is Rise Up For You. You could go to our Rise Up For You YouTube, Rise Up For You podcast, Rise Up For You LinkedIn, Instagram, the website, riseupforyou.com. And then you can connect with me personally. I have my own page, Nada Lena Nasserdeen. I do my own personal social media. So if you send me a message on Instagram or LinkedIn, that's where I hang out. You'll get me responding, not a team member or a bot.
Beautiful. I love that. That makes such a difference too.
Yeah.
My social media also. Thank you so much for all of
You're
the wisdom
welcome.
and confidence boosting strategies that you've shared with me and with the listeners today.
Thank you
And
for having me.
is there anything that you'd like to close with? Any final thoughts or anything that you'd like to include?
Yeah, I would just say, I always say the greatest tragedy is wasted human potential. Do not let that be your story. There's a ton of opportunity and resources out there for you. Just take one step. If anything resonated with you today, at the website that I shared, riseupforyou.com, there's free classes on confidence. There's a quiz on self-confidence, free classes on emotional intelligence. Like, all those things are free. So all you have to do is click the button and start growing yourself. And I really encourage you to do that.
Oh, go get started, guys. And for all of you who are listening, I know you have so many choices when it comes to the podcast you tune into. So thank you so much for choosing Becoming More Me. And thanks again for being here, Nada.
Thank you.
Thanks for spending some of your precious time with me today. If you loved this episode, please leave a review or simply share it with someone else who would get great benefit from it too. If you share on social media, please tag me so I can personally connect and thank you. Until next time, keep taking bold and brave steps towards becoming more of who you want to be in this world. You are capable, you are worthy, and you are enough. And if your inner critic is still trying to argue with those facts, hit me up. We've got work to do.